This story contains fantasy violence. And worms do not destroy. Part 3. The Magnate.
Is this a false vision from the elixir? Wedit wondered, rubbing his eyes. He saw the four Volpa were connected to one another by fleshy strands noodled to their knees, like thick, low-hanging hair made of skin. Wedit edged back, keeping his eyes up, blindly reaching for the tent flap. Wedit's mind grew foggy. He stumbled, he thought. I should be running, or swinging my axe, and yet...
Worry not, breathing one,
said Azara.
for you shall not die.
Added another.
It is your flesh we seek,
Explained the third.
from which to mold our own.
Declared the last. They lunged. The tent flap flew open, and Yof shot an arrow inside. The arrow slunked into the shoulder of the Volpa on Wedit's left. But all four clutched their shoulders and cried in pain. Wedit's thoughts started to clear. He spun his axe. But two of the Volpa evaded the wild strike, and Wedit's attack knocked over a table of elixirs. The bottle shattered. The many elixirs of unknown purpose mixed in a burst of colored light, sparking fires of every known hue, and other fires also, those invisible to the naked eye. The Volpa wailed. Four became five. Five became six, and six. Yof grabbed his brother by the elbow and pulled him from the smoking tent. The brothers ran across the dewy grass and escaped into the nearby woods. Yof walked in the lead, flicking anxious looks behind them at the colorful cluster of tents. Quickening his pace, he made a hasty sign over his lips, like swatting a fly both ways. Then he kissed his thumb. Yof gave his brother a sidelong glance and asked, Did your lips touch hers, brother? Not all pleasures are found in the bottle, answered Wedit. You don't even know what a Volpa is. Neither do you, snapped Wedit. Yof accused his brother. You don't think Gwen is worth more than the shame you have now brought upon her? Wedit followed his brother's attention, back to the full array of tents. He mumbled, one for every craving. He straightened his beard midway down his chest and produced a small pouch from under his belt buckle. He raised his voice. Hey, this way we can still get drink at the next town. He jangled the coins toward Yof. Anger contorted Yof's face. The morning fog rolled in behind the Newellborn, hiding the green valley from view, granting the tents a mystical disappearance. But Gwen, cried Yof. I told you, Gwen is no longer my wife. She does not even know you have forsaken her. Ah, said Wedit. He twirled his axe. You don't think she's been faithful to me, do you? All these years? Who gave you this account of events, Wedit kicked a dead log. Yes or no is irrelevant. Bah. The vow was made. It exists. You violate all three. You, her, and the vow. Gah. I can't believe you were going to... Ha! A thought is not a deed, Wedit grumbled. A thought is a deed of the mind. You built a bridge, brother. I built no bridge. Yes, a bridge, over a gorge. The two of you, you built it. And when you destroyed your side, you said, I wager her side was broken anyway. You're standing in the middle of a bridge you broke. Sometimes you talk like an idiot. You think the blessed immortal king will grant us an audience, knowing you cannot be trusted? Wedit swung his axe in a high arc and pounded it into the narrow space between two slats of the king's road. The blade buried into the ground, and the adjoining stone shattered, revealing wriggling worms beneath. Yof twitched. Wedit pushed him back with a thrust of his chest. Wedit growled, So, you don't trust me? Yof looked away. His right hand rested over the quiver clipped at his hip. I trust you, he whispered. But the king may not. He gritted his teeth. Does a worthy man abandon tomorrow's joy for today's pleasure? If there is a vow sacred to you, please name it. Tell me, brother, Wedit answered. How is the king to know? A slow smile spread within Wedit's beard. Wedit reclaimed his axe and made his mark in the nearest pine, cutting a shape known only to him. What's that for? Asked Yof. In case I happen this way again, answered Wedit. So you can avoid the Volpa, nodded Yof. Wedit chuckled. No.
Now, Magnate?
No!
"Why are we here?" asked Wedit, following his narrow glance. The brothers stood in a sharp pane of light cut across a dark alcove of obsidian.
You are here because I wish it.
Said a languid voice from the dark. The brothers shifted uncomfortably, nervous. They had been escorted at sword point through a grove and down a glen. Their morning meal interrupted by unseen hands. Once the potato sacks were pulled free off their heads, they blinked a long while in the emerald and gold light. When they looked behind them, no one was there. Wedit longed for his axe. Yof yearned for his bow. The brothers heard the light scraping of metal to their left and to their right. They mistook the sound for knives. The magnate leaned forward on his stool, pulling his ostentatious cloak tighter about his shoulders. His reddened nose peeked into the throe of illumination, but his face and eyes remained hooded. His reptilian voice drew the brothers' attention. He said,
I heard of two brothers traveling this land, swift of metal and slow of mercy, it was said. I hoped to bind such vulgar power to my own. Will you serve me?
We're in a hurry, said Wedit. We only serve the blessed, started Yof. Cried the magnate, curling 3 wrinkled fingers into the light.
Do not speak his name here. My cause is the one more sacred.
Is that so? Smirked Yof in disbelief.
Yes,
Came the saurian answer.
for it serves the belly and not the mind. Consider it.
Shall I now, Magnate?
No.
And what is this sacred cause? Wedit asked. The magnate sat up straighter. The diadem upon his brow sparkled teal and orange. He scoffed.
Wealth, of course. Naught else lasts beyond death. Only coin. Gold. Plunder. Spoils. They will bury me in a hole and then cover me with jewels and silver and, nay, a tomb. Yes, a tomb of splendor, and the very walls of that monument will shadow me for all eternity in riches. Oh, what bliss! Oh.
Chortled Yof, glancing about them for weapons.
You doubt the ageless embrace of fortune? The ever-loving affection of opulence? Have you never bathed in the substance of your own riches?
The magnate shook both hands before him, and the brothers caught the glitter of his loose ornamental chainmail.
There is nothing finer.
Wedit peered into the dark alcove behind the magnate. He spied crimson glints over and beside him. They could have been gems, or... Yof looked to his right and to Wedit's left, several men and women were stacking coins. Yof looked again on the Magnate. "From where do you hoard this wealth?" he asked.
Where do you think?
Barked the Magnate.
Blessed? No. No. I mustn't say his name, even to mock him. He is busy, that one. Here, far from his home, his eyes do not turn. So, under his careless watch, from the inside of his own dominion, I take land, farm by farm, town by town. My armies scattered, but growing. Yes, one disgruntled family at a time. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now, Magnate?
Nay.
Oh,
My kingdom spreads within. Is clever, is it not? I am a secret king.
now?
Yes.
He laughed, and it was like many tiny fish eggs sizzling in a pan. "You have no power," shouted Yof.
No power? Wealth is my power, and its foundation is many offerings sent his way. They find their path crosses mine. Oh, yes. I merely resell them, like the smart one I am, from one village to another. The sacrifices, and the offerings, and the gifts. As long as the blessed, as long as he has devotion, I can profit from it.
Now, Magnate?
No. You claim to serve him, but come now. Is he here to feed you? No. I am.
The Magnate laughed again. He tossed 2 dead mice, one at each brother. Neither Wedit nor Yof moved, and the mice hit them in the chest. The vermin fell at their feet, worms crawling from their eyes. "You have no right," shouted Wedit.
No right. No right?
Screeched the Magnate.
These fools are my right.
He wriggled his hands behind him as though mimicking rain.
These fools are my right.
Wedit's eyes adjusted. He realized the crimson glints were not gems, but the Magnate's soldiers, their eyes aglow in the dark with some cinder-like spark.
None can raise their hand against me, for my servants are the paladin at Penumbra. Ooh. Only seen in the light, only felt in the dark. Yes, they are idiots, eyes burn with the fire of malice.
Now, Magnificent One?
Yes.
The paladin rattled their armor, looking at one another, spouting short trails of flame from their eyes whenever they rapidly turned their heads. The magnate continued.
You see, my genius is that I rule from the middle, not the top, and certainly not from the bottom. The rich loves me, for they think I am theirs to control, as I encourage the direction of trade from this hidden place. This hidden place. This hidden place. The poor love me because I feed them, not tasty food as I offered you, nay, but rage. Yes, and they gobble such sweetmeats like chicken to seeds. I keep the first fat and the second angry, or the first happy and the second fat. Can you get fat on anger? Bloated, I should say.
Now?
No. Both pay me to make certain each stays in their place. Both are too stupid to know I am the chain between them. They are their own shackle. In the meantime, I get rich.
Now then, Magnate.
Yes. The brothers sensed a smile in the dark. Well, said Yof, it does not sound like you need two simple farmers. So then we'll be going. He turned.
I do need you. For these simpletons behind me have failed in their greatest task.
He shook his tiny fists, clattering the rings of his mail. Wedit saw the paladin turn their bodies away from the brothers and toward their lord. Which is? Asked Wedit.
Bringing me the head and banner of the Nameless Rider. The head to open, the banner to rip. Oh, he taunts me. Oh, he taunts me. With his very freedom. I cannot allow this. His words infects others. He must die.
Now, my meritorious Magnate.
Oh, yes. Now.
Next time on Part 4, The Messengers.
Who are you, then?
The driver demanded. Brothers, Yof answered. He stepped forward, his boots squishing in the pebbles in the mud. On our way to the king. The woman chuckled.
Then you best turn round, for the blessed immortal king sleeps not in the north, nay, but yonder in the south.
She nodded in the direction her cart traveled. That can't be, said Wedit. That's where we come from. The woman furrowed her brow.
Maybe you came from the south, but not south enough?
What? Asked Yof.
Your south was still north.
And Worms Do Not Destroy, starring Steve Rudolph as Wedit, Yof, and the narrator, featuring Julia Eve as Azara the Vulpa, Karim Kronfli as the Magnate, Cary Michael Ayers, and Elizabeth Novotny as Ensemble. Written and produced by William J. Meyer. Thanks for listening.